All right, I've taken the platform demo and added in a few more sprites. In particular, it's these things that are the monkey. So this is from one of the sprite strips. I've actually already pre-done some of the editing I needed to do, so I grabbed all the individual images. So for example, here's this guy here. That's my standing still one. It's made up of 8 different frames. I have a walking one, and I have an attacking one for each of the different directions. And they're various frames, but that's the idea. One other thing that I've done that's fairly important is I've went in and I've modified this thing called the collision mask. So that's this part here. What I've done is I've made it so that I've manually changed the left, right, top, and bottom so that all of these sprites, including the walking, the attacking, the standing, are all the same size mask. So mine are 50 by 50. And I've also placed the center at the very bottom, middle of each of these things. I've actually calculated that from the left and right sides. The reason why I have to do that is when I switch from this sprite to this sprite, I want to make sure that I don't accidentally put his tail into a wall or something and can't move ever again. That would be silly. So I want to make sure that everything, when it switches from one sprite to another, has exactly the same mask. Now it may be that, for example, in the attack, if I look at the later frames of this, he actually goes considerably beyond his collision mask. I'm okay with that. Eventually, what I'll probably do is actually maybe create a projectile out of here, and that'll do the collision anyway. So you may have never have noticed this before, but in a lot of games, your picture of you actually overlaps walls and other things a little bit, and that's because the collision mask is actually smaller than what you see on the screen, and that's okay. So let's say that I want to change this avatar here, who's this sprite, into this monkey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change into the standing right one to start with. Now the trick is that I don't want to make a billion different objects, because I don't want to have every enemy have to do you collide with the left guy, do you collide with the right guy, do you collide with the guy jumping from the right, all that stuff. That sounds like crazy talk to me. What I would prefer is to have one guy that I just change the picture of, and all the collisions happen with that one person. So what I'm going to do is, when I press the right key, I'm going to change my sprite, that's this one here, the little red Pac-Man, into monkey walk right. I'm going to start him, well, since I'm continually using the right key, if I said subimage 0, he wouldn't animate because it would set it back to the first frame over and over again. So I'm actually going to set this to a special value called which is -1. -1 means just use whatever the previous or whatever the current animation is, so it actually continually goes through the animation. If you say 0, 1, 2, it'll stop on that one frame. Speed is your animation speed. So let me take a look at that and see what that looks like. That's a little fast. Also, I should probably move my monkey down. That other sprite was a little smaller. Maybe I'll put him up here. So when he's first created, I'm also going to slow him down. So let's see, monkey, stand right. We'll start with subimage 0. Because the create event only fires once, I can leave this at 0. Let's try 0.5. Maybe that'll be better. Yeah, I'm good with that. So when I press right, I'm going to change him to 0.5. Now, I need to do the left movement as well. And when I release right, I should probably change back into the standing one. So let me do the right one where I'm standing. So I'm going to change back into monkey, stand right, speed of 0.5. The release right only happens once, so I don't have to worry about the subimage. When I press left, I'm going to change my sprite into the monkey walk left, 0.5. This is the keyboard event, so it continually fires, so I have to worry about the subimage. And when I release left, I'm going to change back into monkey stand left, speed of 0.5. I can leave the subimage alone. I don't know why, but everything is funnier when you have a monkey. Anyway. So what about attacking? The problem with attacking is I probably want a left and right attack, but at the moment, if I use, like, say, the spacebar to attack, I don't know which direction I'm necessarily going. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to manually keep track of that. So in my create event, I'm going to create a new variable. Direction is already built in, and I want to create my own. So I'm just going to shorten direction to dir. Let's see, to the right is 0. I'm going to use the same sort of things as direction, though, 0 and 180. So I'm going to set this to 0. When I press right, I'm going to set dir to 0, because if I just pressed right, that means I'm going in the 0 direction. When I press left, I'm going to set dir to 180. So now I'm actually keeping track. I can ask what direction is dir, and I know whether I'm going left or right. So I'm going to add in a spacebar attack. So if I hit the spacebar, I'm going to change into one of these two attack sprites. Key press space. So I'm going to test dir. If the value is 0, then I'm going to change my picture into monkey, attack right, speed of 0.5. Otherwise, I could say just if dir is equal to 180, if there were more directions. I'm going to change into monkey attack left, speed of 0.5, and away we go.